with the elimination of the Kansas City Chiefs this previous week, we no longer have to be cursed with Chiefs in the top 10.
I feel like I'm living a fantasy right now. Pinch me. I don't know if I'm awake. Welcome back to the James and Dame Show. I'm Josiah.
And I'm Will.
And today we're going over Week 15 Power Rankings.
Yes, we are.
I got it this time, but this last week was interesting to say the least, in the sense of some teams moved, but not for the reasons that obviously some would hope for, and there were things that are out of people's control, unfortunately, and it will put a detrimental effect on their power rankings. However, there are some teams, you deserve it, whether it's good or bad. So it's kind of whatever. But we can go straight into it. We are going to do some honorable mentions. So let's go right into it. Obviously, I feel like I'm repeating them every single week at this point. But obviously, the San Francisco 49ers.
Always right there.
Yeah. They're on the cusp of the top 10, but they're not. They're not there. And then maybe the Philadelphia Eagles and Lions.
Ooh.
And yeah, that's kind of about it right now. So, and those are maybes, though. Those are maybes. Cool. I mean, you're good, but you're not top 10 worthy.
I will agree with you on the 49ers as an honorable mention because, you know, they've been like right on the cusp, but I just don't have enough faith to put them in that top 10 over any of the top 10 teams
They're going to make us eat our words, though.
I
feel like they will.
Hope not. They're like, it's just every week, it's just like, they're just always, they need one of these top 10 teams to fall off like completely without someone, every time someone drops out, someone else steps up, and the 49ers are just like, please.
Just let me in.
I do have one other one, and I'm not a fan of the fact that they're here, but I kind of have the Steelers as an honorable mention, which is like, it's it's a good 2-game stretch.
Yeah, it's a good 2-game stretch. However, you did play Tua and the Dolphins. This was the Dolphins' like best opponent that they had in like the last 7-8 weeks or whatever it's been. Like they've been on a winning streak, but they've been playing against really, really bad teams.
Yeah, they've not had super tough competition, but they still went out, played good football, and they just they played pretty good football.
Yeah, it was pretty good football.
The offense is starting to look,
they're awake.
Like, it could be like a winning offense, which is where there's concern with the Steelers. I mean, obviously you need the defense to still be at the level it is, but they've made some tweaks there. They're looking like a pretty solid team now, and back-to-back like solid wins. Yeah,
and momentum is a huge thing towards this end of the year, so we'll see how that far it gets them. And it's inevitable that 9-8 Super Bowl, it's knocking at the door. It's coming back, especially with the last 3 games. It's very possible.
I don't need that.
I know. But let's just go right ahead into the top 10. For number 10, I have the LA Chargers here.
Interesting.
So I wouldn't say impressed, but I'm satisfied with the results that I have been seeing out of the Chargers lately, and especially the last 2 weeks. Yes, they play the Chiefs, and yes, they play the Eagles the previous week. But while those two teams are not the same contenders like we saw last year, they're still decently well-rounded teams, enough to be competitive and to put up a fight, especially a little bit more the Eagles and the Chiefs right now. But the Chiefs are a divisional game. Like, it's going to be a rough game regardless. Sure, there were some things that were not as, good. I mean, with Justin Herbert throwing another, was it one interception? I think it was just one interception that game. I mean, he's not been complete, but he's been playing up to what he's been expected of doing and probably going a little bit beyond. He's been playing all right. Chargers defense been pretty good, so I'm not worried about them. It's the Chargers remind me a little bit of the Texans to a degree. Great defense, offense could do better.
I mean,
a little bit comparison. They're not the same, but the Chargers offense is a little bit more.
I mean, they still have they just have it's another team with a rough O-line.
Yeah, and that's gonna be an issue. But I think the Chargers are still playing up to their competition, if not beyond it, a little bit better than the Texans have, or at least overall throughout the year. Recently, they're about even. Beginning of the year, Texans, oh my gosh, that beginning stretch for the Texans was rough. So I'm gonna lay that to rest. That was in the past. However, Chargers, they're winning. They're 10-4 right now. They're still competing to an extent for the AFC West crown. It's going to be a rough one. You have to hope that the Broncos just completely collapse.
I mean, they don't even really need to because they still play the Broncos once more, and they're 2 games behind?
They're only 2 games behind, I think. So it's not a lot to ask of, but there's only 3 weeks left.
Well, the reality is for the Chargers to claim that all they need is a Broncos loss and then beat the Broncos in the final week, and they claim it because they would have gone undefeated in division play and a sweep over the Broncos. They just got to get even record-wise, and they play them again, so they only really need 1 game to go the Broncos' way or the Chargers' way. So, but yeah, I mean, Chargers, I agree. They got some holes. They got some things that cause for some concern, but just a well-coached team that continues to win. At my number 10, I actually have the Jaguars.
Ooh, okay.
Man, that was an impressive performance out of Trevor Lawrence.
I didn't think I'd ever see that from him.
I didn't really pay much attention to it until this week, but he's actually had 3 actually really good weeks. He's been pretty good the last month or so.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it's not been to the best competition.
No, but he's playing really well.
What you want to see right now.
And again, one of them was against a division opponent too. So he's just been playing well lately. And again, it's at the right time. Team actually kind of looks a little scary now.
Exactly.
This isn't just this team that's kind of limping into the playoffs or whatever, or we may have seen where it's just yeah, you're winning your division, but is that much of anything? This is still a competitive division.
Yeah, surprisingly, we've been asking for that for a while, and it's been satisfying, I'd say, for most people.
It's been delivering. But
yes,
like you mentioned, not necessarily the most impressive win.
No.
Or at least as far as quality of opponent. But, I mean, again, the strength of the win is commendable, and the play of Trevor Lawrence, regardless, is still very good.
Yeah.
So
I think the Jaguars can really play really well, especially next year when they get Travis Hunter back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they're playing like this now, I mean, you have some hope for the future if you're a Jaguars fan. So
yeah, I'm curious to see what they do in the playoffs.
And speaking of the Jaguars, for number 9, I actually have the Jaguars here. Like you've mentioned, the Jaguars have been doing pretty well recently, especially this last month. While it has not been against the best opponents, I still think that they're playing pretty complete football with what they do have. Trevor Lawrence is kind of getting into a rhythm, specifically this last game, but there hasn't been really anything that I've been Jaguars, I don't like you because this, and this. I mean, defense is still playing great. Offense is starting to, find its form, especially in the later half of the season. I mean, what are they right now? They're
10-4.
10-4 right now. Oh my gosh, Jacksonville's 10-4. Yeah, so they're doing pretty well. They're keeping pace and currently lead that division. Texans not too far behind them. So this is a really interesting division, and I'm curious to see who takes it.
My number 9, actually, I'm going to have the Chargers here.
Okay.
I actually did. Flipped. I originally had it flipped the other way, but I wanted to give the Chargers. One, I had the Chargers at 9 last week, and I didn't want to put them over. I didn't want to put the Jaguars over the Chargers, especially on a week where the Chargers just knocked off like the dynasty. Basically, was like nail in the coffin. So at the very least, wanted to give them that, but I do. Jaguars look a little scarier, but the Chargers are such a consistent team that, come another week of Jaguars being playing at the level they have been playing, again, especially like if they can do it against a tougher opponent, they'll absolutely move up. But the Chargers have been kind of more consistent. I think that's why I have them up here. And despite, like you said, not the most consistent or not the most effective on offense, despite injuries, they still have a lot of upside, and if you can get past the horrible O-line play that they're dealing with, they're actually a pretty scary team with a solid running back room and some receivers that have stepped up a lot this year. Justin Herbert's playing well.
He is.
So I like what the Chargers are doing, especially on defense, and you knocked off the Chiefs, so
it's fair.
I think morally, they're number 1. But for realistic sake, 9.
So for number 8, I know some people are going to be like, why did you do this? But I have the Texans here because I think they're the better team, and I think they're more complete now than they've ever been. Sure, they played the Cardinals. I mean, it's whatever. But Texans they're kind of playing with house money right now, and C.J. Stroud has been surprisingly not his freshman year, but he's been playing to a decent level where that offense is clicking enough to win them games. And obviously they just put the smack down on the Cardinals, so it didn't really change much. But ringing it up to 40 points on the Cardinals is a good sign for the Texans, especially going into the last few weeks, because if they want a chance at that division, they got to continue to put up some points. And we've been saying this the last few weeks, but that Texans defense, they're terrifying. If you don't have the Texans in your top 10, you are absolutely crazy. I do not understand why there are some people who still doubt the Texans. I know there's a couple murmurs here and there, but I think generally the NFL agrees. You get them in the playoffs, you don't want to play them. Like, this is a team who wants to win. Trying to keep it PG.
Yeah, That defense is very scary.
Yes.
I think a lot of the question marks around them is their offense, but we've seen some consistency here and there. There's still some inconsistencies that I can see.
But the defense is doing enough to win them games, and that's what they have been doing. And the offense just does enough, I guess. But even then, sometimes that's just how you win games. I mean, if it works, it works. I'm not going to argue with it mostly, but...
At number 8, it's a bit of a tumble. I have the Packers down at 8. You suffer kind of a brutal loss to the Broncos where...
Yeah.
I mean, it was a very hard-fought game. Played pretty well, actually.
Mm-hmm. It was a very competitive game up until like the last quarter.
This drop isn't coming from the loss.
No.
Where this is coming from, I mean, we didn't see the greatest play out of Jordan Love, but it was. There's the injury to Christian Watson, which hopefully doesn't seem to be too severe.
Enough to take him out of that game.
Yeah, which hurt absolutely, and then obviously the Micah Parsons injury, which that's actually what's going to drop you here. Not it just because unfortunately that's your
game changer.
I mean, that might be like your best player on the team,
Mm-hmm.
and he's out for the rest of the year, so that instantly takes you down a couple ticks. And you still have a pretty strong defense, and you still have a threatening offense, but this is enough, I think, to take away kind of that. It puts them at more like playoff underdogs rather than Super Bowl favorites.
Favorites, yeah.
So
which is sometimes the mentality you want. Sometimes that's the mentality you want.
It could help, and they still have the roster to potentially make a run, but it's not going to be.
It's not easy anymore.
It puts you behind a couple steps. So,
yeah.
Well, a good fought game for the Packers, but that injury is going to hold them back a lot more than than that loss will even do. So,
at number 7, this is where I have the Packers. I wanted to drop them a little bit further. I was debating it, but it was more of like a pity placement almost, because 2 injuries to your star players is not your fault, really. I mean, it's gonna affect everything in the long run. So, I mean, I would put the Texans up on them, but I don't know. I'm a little skeptical, especially because the Packers, they'll perform well in January. I think, well, they've always been doing well in January, except when they play the 49ers. But
true.
I don't know. This is not what you want, especially with the Bears jumping you in the division. That's not a good look. So I say give it another week, and maybe the Texans at the very least will jump the Packers, especially with their strength and the remaining of their season. So,
funny enough, I actually have the Texans at 7 over the Packers. Main reason is it's mostly the defense, and again, like I said, the Packers' injuries is kind of what dropped them. But the fact that the Texans can put up another 40 bomb, even if it is the Cardinals, is like, well, that's scary if this offense can put up 40 on just an opponent on a whim. Are they going to be doing it to teams like the Eagles or anyone are they going to put up 40 on the Chargers? No, probably not. But
it shows you that
they have the potential to put up points, which is again, and it's not like in a great fashion where it was super the win was super dominant, but they were not offensively super dominant. It was a good strong win, and it does enough for that Texans offense to take away a little bit of the concern to be the thing that holds them back going forward. So Texans, you get a very solid win, but the only reason really I have them over like the Packers is just I feel like come playoff time I feel more comfortable with the Texans.
Yeah, and I think I will be come next week. I think it's just this week it's more like a pity placement almost. But it's not anything against the Packers or the Texans. It's just unfortunate situations happen, and that's just one of them. So I mean that's why I did play certain teams earlier this season the way they were, because injuries, and that's why I didn't drop the Colts immediately, at least out of the top 10 immediately. For number 6, I have the Bears. Bears. They're making their way up there. Sure, I mean, it was the Browns, but you were playing against them in a very harsh condition from what I've heard. Apparently it was really cold and windy there, as it would be in Chicago. That was a pretty dominant win. Yeah, I'd say.
Just a little bit.
Just a wee bit. Caleb Williams, he's doing all right. DJ Moore, he's finally on a winning team since high school. I did see that today, so good for him. And Luther Burden, he did pretty well. He kind of stepped up after losing Roma Dunze during that game. But I mean, that's what you want to see, especially after the debacle of last week or last week when they played the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just unfortunate that you didn't beat the Packers, but you get a chance in the future, and this is exactly the momentum you need. So I'm excited to see the Bears in the playoffs because I'm rooting for them as underdogs because not a whole lot of people have given them credit where credit's due, and I think they could make some noise. They could. So I'm very happy to see that for once.
At number 6, I also actually have the Bears. It feels kind of right with them where they're beating the bad opponents, winning against the good ones. We're
here and there.
Kind of here and there. It's going to be interesting come playoff time, but I am a little bit more comfortable with them because while, again, like you compare them to the team below them with the Texans, their defense isn't at the same caliber, but their defense has done a really good job of turning opponents over. And the offense, it's not super flashy or anything, but it is a solid unit. Run game's been good. Caleb, while he's not been miraculous, has been efficient, pretty solid. He's been a pretty good quarterback. And again, he's just getting a lot of help. I think mostly though, it's just this just feels like a well-coached team, which saying that in 2025 is just
I don't know.
It's a strange year, but
Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I mean he's doing a good job. And do I have a lot of faith in the Bears doing anything in the playoffs?
They're underdogs.
I mean, I think they're always going to be underdogs because they're just a team where we haven't seen them in the playoffs in a long time. So it's hard to have any faith with anything to do with Chicago in the playoffs. So, but we'll see. But I do like the way they're playing, and I am excited to see them play the Packers again.
For number 5, I have been waiting to do this for so long. I have the Patriots here. It was due. It was very much due. That loss was going to rear its ugly head, and here it was. Patriots, you blew a 21-point lead to the Bills. I thought the Bills were the inconsistent team here, not the other way around. Sure, it is, you get the Bills being hot and cold. This was what happens when you play in division sometimes. You just drop a game or two, and then you kind of get woken up back to reality, unfortunately. So it's good to see that the AFC East is now competitive, at least with 2 teams. We've only seen one here and there for like the last 8 years, ish. Depends on what you ask. But yeah, I mean, Drake May, he struggled. I don't think he had a touchdown all day. I think he was less than half completions for that second half. He wasn't doing very well. Not a great day for Drake May. So I can stop seeing the Drake May memes for once.
But they're so funny.
Great guy. I do not like the cult following he has sometimes. I think he's still, the Patriots could easily make more noise in the playoffs now. They have a chip on their shoulder now. I don't know what this means for the future. That means the AFC East, at least that division, is up for grabs now. So the Patriots will have to play to win the last 3 games. Because the Bills are only, a game behind you now? Full game? Half game?
Well, yeah, they're just a game behind, and they split in the division.
So it
is going to be tough for the Patriots, for the Bills to pass them just due to division record.
Yeah, it is.
Just because, dropping the game to the Dolphins is really going to hurt them.
Yeah,
the Bills. So unless something goes against at least the Patriots, it's kind of looking like it's still gonna be the Patriots' division to lose, but
yeah, I mean, what is it? I'm currently seeing a sentence in here where it's like the Patriots were like 30 game minutes away from AFC East champions hats and T-shirts being ripped out of the boxes. Yeah, premature celebration. Obviously, I don't think that's what they were doing, but nothing's ever certain in the NFL, so you got to be kept on your toes, apparently.
My number 5 is also going to be the Patriots. I mean, is it not a great look the way you lost that with a giant comeback like that? No, it's not great, but it's also the Bills.
Bills are wild cards this year.
They're inconsistent, but what we've seen the last few weeks has not been the same inconsistent team, not the same, team that is in the gutter all the time. This is a team that can be scary, and that almost makes it feel like no lead is safe.
No,
because they crawled back last week, they crawled back this week in games that kind of felt out of hand. So I think a lot of this speaks more to the Bills. Patriots is still a very valiant effort, and I think there is some legitimacy to. I mean, not to say that they weren't a potentially legitimate team, but maybe not as much frauds as we also might have suspected either. Like they might still pose a threat in the playoffs, but not as strong as I may have thought prior. So Patriots, again, not your best performance. Honestly, I put more of this kind of on that defense. But
yeah, that defense really crumbled. They kind of need a pass attack there because it was not looking too great there.
What can you say, though? It's Josh Allen.
Speaking of the Bills, at number 4, this is where I have them. I have the Bills at number 4. Yeah, this was kind of expected towards the end of the year. I was waiting for that end of season push. This is the final boost that they finally need to make it at least more secure in their place in the playoffs. Don't know their seeding yet because nothing's set besides the Broncos, Rams. That's about it, really.
Even that's not.
That's not entirely set yet. So we don't even know what's going to happen. But Josh Allen, he's getting to a point where if he's playing like MVP level, especially in the playoffs, without Patrick Mahomes to stop him,
I mean, yeah,
who will?
Who's going to stop him if it's not going to be Mahomes this year? So.
Someone's got to stop him. Are you going to stop him? Didn't think so. So they're not quite the Texans scary with the defense, but they are scary when it comes to you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know which Bills team you're going to get. So that's why I'm interested in seeing what happens this playoff run.
At number 4, I feel like I foresee us having a similar view for the rest of the way. I also have the Bills.
Yeah.
Again, I bump them up. I want them. I would love to have them higher, but there's still that little bit of concern of if they're gonna, maybe have just a complete dud. One of these games where they don't make a miraculous comeback and they just get blown out, or just they don't do enough. They're not dominant, but they're very inspiring, and I would like to see them a few more weeks because I do think that this team can be, I still have some faith that they can be a Super Bowl team.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, again, you go against the Patriots who have been on a tear, but like we've mentioned, not against the strongest opponents. We'll have to see as the season finishes out how these two teams compare then, because that's going to probably tell more than what we're seeing now. But again, Josh Allen, when he's on, he's on. He's very scary. It's just such a fun team to watch when they're good.
Mm-hmm. In some ways, like, they kind of remind me of some teams in the past where during the regular season they just were so inconsistent, but once the playoffs hit, they take off running. Like, you can't stop them. they're okay. I'm not throwing comparisons around because they're two different teams. But Tom Brady's first year in the Buccaneers system, they were super inconsistent for like most of that season. And people were like, oh, he's just going to get bounced first round again. Like, this isn't the same Tom Brady. Or this isn't like a unit that would win a Super Bowl. And then, because like the inconsistent. Yeah, because you can't trust inconsistent teams to stay inconsistent, especially when the playoffs come around, because they've done it before.
Especially Tom Brady.
But this isn't Tom Brady. This is Josh Allen. They're two different people. And I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying that inconsistent teams are hard to judge because we've seen them win it all before. So
I'm just saying, I think everyone's afraid of the Bills, including the Bills.
For number 3, I have the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle, you were... Yeah, about this close. To losing to a 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, who just got off the couch. How? How? There is no way that you almost lost to Phillip Rivers at 44 years old. You better hope that's just one game. Especially towards the end of the year, because 49ers were licking their chops. They were like, oh, we're about to move up in rankings here.
We're about to make a name for ourselves.
That did not happen. So if it wasn't for Myers and all those field goals, you'd be pretty stuck in middle of the pack for the playoffs. They're still good. Sam Darnold still balls out when he can, except this game for some reason. That defense was trying to hold them together as much as they could.
My number 3 is also going to be the Seahawks. Yeah, it didn't move up, didn't move down. Definitely could have moved down with the Bills win, but I keep them at 3 because I'm still giving the Colts some credit for the team that they are. I think Phillip, he didn't play fantastic, but he wasn't horrible either. Where this game kind of came, what made this so close was actually just the Colts defense, which has not been, I don't think has been as good as they were this last week. So I think that's just one of the best weeks they've had. Keeping Seattle out of the end zone, which they've been so effective at finding. And so the fact that I'm giving a lot more credit to the Colts than I am docking the Seahawks for that game. But I mean, defense still stepped up pretty big and held them to a manageable 16 points while they were able to get 18 on 6 field goals. It's not a pretty win.
No.
Again, Seahawks right now, this is kind of just a consistency thing, finding a way to win. And so I'll give you your credit there, but I mean, that
we're close.
It's a hard fought win, and that's what I will give credit for.
For number 2, they're gonna come after me. I have the Denver Broncos here. They are probably like arguably the best team in the league right now, especially beating the Packers. Surtain got an interception.
He did.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you wanted for the Broncos. You wanted a solid win against a really good team, and you got it at home. That's why I picked them last week, because I trusted their environment. I think they play really good at home too. So it's just a matter of time before they were going to, clinch their playoff berth, honestly. They currently hold the 1 seed right now. This is good. Good stuff is happening in Denver. It's really hard picking between this team and who's number 1 right now, because they both have great strengths but they all have some glaring weaknesses, like every team does. It's just kind of hard to figure out who's better than who. Some could even argue this is possibly the Super Bowl matchup.
My number 2 is also going to be the Broncos. Looking ahead, comparing my number 1 to the Broncos, they both had hard-fought wins against competitive teams from the North. It was I don't think there was enough, other than the fact that the Broncos, I mean, I do think the Packers are a tougher opponent. Packers also suffered some some key injuries, which definitely helped at the end of that game.
Mm-hmm. It was pretty close for the most part, though.
It was very close. It was like down to the wire for the most part. And so I think those injuries were crucial, and they did help out the Broncos. Broncos still played really well. We actually saw a game where the offense kind of turned it on and wasn't just relying on the defense, which is, again, just another week where they prove that they can.
Yes.
Which is good to know.
Yes.
It was very good to know. Head scratcher as to why it's not always there, but I mean, hey, if their offense is hitting stride, then they're going to be a scary team.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, if I hate to be the one that's just like, there's like a little bit of an asterisk, which is holding them back, but like, I think they get a little bit more credit though if Watson and Parsons don't go down in that game and you still pull out a win. If you do that, then I'm like, with some of the concerns from that other game, maybe you jump the Rams, but Broncos, you're like, I just don't have as much faith, but still a really scary, really good team, and they're right on the cusp of that number 1 with a very, very solid win over the Packers.
As Will already mentioned and kind of spoiled what number 1 is, it's not really a surprise anymore. Say it with me, the Los Angeles Rams. What? Number 1? Who knew? Rams are just, they're good. Like, you can't refute that. And I think they're just really good because they held Detroit's offense to an extent. But it was more of just they kept up with them and probably pulled away when they needed to. And you did lose Davante Adams.
To
hopefully it's not.
It's week to week. So.
It's week to week, so it's not super concerning. But you need him at this point. If he just needs the rest, then just let him rest until the playoffs because you're basically in the playoffs now. Yeah, I mean, this is what I've been hoping for when it comes to the Rams being number 1. Obviously, it just depends week by week who is going to be challenging that number 1 spot. There just hasn't really been a team besides the Broncos that are really competing for number 1. And even then, honestly, I don't see why the Broncos can't be 1. I just like the Rams more. The more complete, I'd say. But complete. I don't know. Complete in different ways. It's hard because they're both good and bad at certain things. It's just how football works. No one's truly complete in the sport. There's always going to be a glaring issue.
My number 1 is also the Rams. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't their best performance per se, but again, we go against a good Lions team. They didn't really manage to stop the passing game, but they did limit the run game, which is something that's very impressive against this Lions team.
Mm-hmm.
Something they do really well is run the ball, but passing numbers.
We don't talk about passing numbers.
But like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because you still have to stop Puka Nacua and Davante Adams, who, again, you mentioned he went down with an injury. But even then, it's like Puka alone is just an absolute beast and continues to be week after week. He put up 181 yards, which, I mean, he was basically trying to outduel St. Brown and Jameson Williams.
Who, at the same time.
Yeah, and, I mean, he had the most yards.
He did.
But, geez, like, Puka is ridiculous. You throw in Davante in there, who is just a like a red zone machine. Matthew Stafford's just playing at such an elite level. I would love to see the Rams play the Lions again. That's for sure.
I definitely think that could be an instant classic again, because I like the Rams-Lions games when they do happen. They put up a show. I enjoy them.
They really do. But Rams, you just no, your defense isn't perfect, but there's just I have so much more. I guess I just have more faith in the Rams to pull out these wins. Where with the Broncos, I mean, yes, your defense is really good. Your offense is a little still inconsistent, and it's not even at this point like a lack of talent, but like
it's lack of consistency.
Yeah, it's just not always putting up big numbers, which again your defense usually is. But I just have a little more faith in the Rams. Mm-hmm. But that being said, disagree all you want, because honestly, I could see it either which way. Yeah. I could see a lot of teams in the discussion for number one. I've just always had a little more faith in the Rams for quite some time now.
Yeah, I like the Rams. I like them a lot.
That will wrap up this Week 15 episode of Power Rankings. Thank you so much for joining us. We always enjoy making these, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.